Full house tonight, huh?
Yes. Hopefully we can be here.
I gotta get home and see
From Olympus.
Homeland.
Oh.
I haven't watched much Olympics.
What, I think that United States, in the gold, and any of the medals, I think, all the other medals.
Did I lock the door? Usually they're all sitting here waiting for us.
That's okay.
Denied, denied.
You didn't hear from anybody?
Nope.
Okay. I mean, I'm just wondering whether 102, he's still down in Florida, may not have.
Well, he actually called and had some questions, but he called like on Friday or something last week and didn't bother calling today. Or and of course, Monday being a holiday, he may have tried and found out that we weren't open. So.
Oh. They're lost.
"15 seconds, and then we'll open it up and we'll see where we go."
I'm surprised that 457 South
Yeah.
Main isn't here. Maybe they got mixed up with the fact there was a holiday. Maybe they're thinking tonight's Monday
Monday
night.
night.
We still have trash, don't we? I would imagine we have trash to pick up.
They talked about traffic last night coming home from Kingston, New York to Albany, New York on the throughway.
Oh, dear
That
God.
traffic backed up bumper to bumper going to New York City. Bumper to bumper.
It's always that way, isn't it?
To Albany. I said, I told my sister, my daughter and my son-in-law, I said, those people in Albany will be getting home like 4 o'clock in the morning.
If they're lucky.
Yeah, if they're lucky. Unreal.
What? Just because it was the holiday weekend?
Yeah.
3-day weekend, yeah.
Wow.
All right, being that it's 6:30, we have a quorum. I will call the meeting of the Conservation Commission for February 20th open. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for February 6th.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Passed. We'll wait on opening the hearing. I believe we have a gentleman here for 225 South Street.
Yes.
We might as well take care of that so he doesn't have to stay here too long.
Mr. Florestal came into the office and said that he would be at the last meeting, of course, and he had a family emergency, so he wasn't able to make it, so he apologized. And I asked him to come in tonight so that he could hear what the commission wants to discuss about his enforcement order that we issued. So I guess I can kind of give everybody a summary of what it was, is that he had a couple of commercial trucks parked in his yard, and it was creating some issues with traffic and maneuvering and so forth. So he ended up cutting some brush near the wetlands without knowing where the wetlands are, and in my opinion, it was within 50 feet of what I think is the wetland. So that's why we issued the enforcement order. I think what we need to do now is to find out what he needs to do other than what we not suggested, but told him what to do in the enforcement order, which was to have the wetlands flagged. So that's where we stand at this point.
Okay. Just to refresh my memory, it was you're facing the house, it's to the left, right?
That's correct.
Now, where did the 50 foot, where was the line? Was it at the driveway or a little bit in, or?
I would say, based on an estimation, because I haven't really gone on to the property, by estimation, I would say that within 10 feet of the driveway is probably the 50-foot buffer.
So how much in was stripped?
I would say about 15 feet off the wetland is where the brush was stopped.
Okay,
A couple of trees were cut down.
all right.
Am I pretty much saying everything accurately? That
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And do you understand about the 50 and what's going on with all of that? Did you understand John's explanation of why you can't encroach over that 50-foot line?
Yeah, he talked to me about that, so I understand. So I was compliant, I get rid of my truck. I don't park my truck over my land anymore. So he gave me a couple things to do for I can like secure my lands, my land.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to contact those persons to make it effective. I couldn't reach her, so I don't know if we can help me to get somebody because
Sure.
I'm ready to comply with the town,
Right.
And so
So
I'm not
yeah,
gonna push nothing.
that's something there.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're not parking the trucks there anymore, and that was one of the
That's
main
a big
concerns.
plus. That's a big plus.
I don't know, John, if we work with them getting the wetland line delineated and then markers put in, I mean, it was a lawn area underneath the trees already, so it wasn't, like, taking the trees down wasn't really disturbing a wetland area, it was lawn, and there was like a spruce tree and a crabapple, I think. that
Yep,
came
and
down.
then some brush along the edge of what was the edge of the woods at that time.
A lot of that'll grow back in, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, they will go. But it wasn't a big tree. It was a half, tree. It wasn't like a big kind of tree.
Yeah, I mean, number one, you're not parking the truck anymore.
No, I'm not.
Secondly, I think you understand what's going on. And, we all live in town. We're not town officials. We all just try and, enforce
I
the
understand
rules,
that,
so.
guys. I really understand that. That was my mistake too, because I thought, because I'm on the land, I can, park my truck in the land,
Yeah,
without
well.
thinking, So I comply. I did not park my truck at the land, So even that cost me a lot of money. So I go for it until I found a way to,
Where are you parking the truck now?
Now I pay the place
To
to
keep
park
it,
them,
yeah.
to park them.
So we just find the wetland where it is,
Where
we
you-
just leave it and let the rest of it. grow-
Well, I
grow back.
recommended that he call and,
I
have-
call her. You remember the day you give me a number?
Yes.
Call her every day.
And she
Leave a
hasn't-
message. They never get back to me.
everybody's busy.
I wanna do that because
If the commission would like to have me go out with him and try to determine where the original edge of woods was, and we put in some PVC pipes
Save
with
some
signs.
money. Save them some money.
I will be good because I'm sorry guys. When I did my surveillance for my thing, because I was appeal that decision, so it cost me like $1,700, and then I paid $300 to the town for.
Oh, this is for the zoning board of
for the
appeals,
zoning
plot
board,
plan?
so I've been losing money,
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, so maybe we can help you out a little bit on.
Does that sound all right?
Please.
Then you
I
can
will-
put the pipes in,
I
you
will
know
put
where it
the pipe
is,
and
and
then
that's
I
it.
know nobody can park there. That's a secure zone,
The way the weather is now, it's gonna grow back pretty quick.
Yeah.
John, does he have to sign authorization for you to put the pipes in, and that he accepts the position of the pipes?
That's what we would work out by going to the site.
I'm fine
Yeah,
with
I'm
that.
fine with, if John, you're okay with John and you meeting up at a time that works
Yeah.
out, and
I'm okay
Okay.
with any decision, guys. I'm gonna go by what
No,
you
that-
said.
Yeah.
that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have can you give me your email address and your telephone number again?
Yes, sir.
And I'll contact you when I'm
Can't close
available.
until he does
Okay, let me
it.
give you my
Right.
business card.
Oh,
you can
okay.
know everything.
Is that
Yeah,
better way?
that's more accurate.
Okay.
So, that'll be, the next line. Go over and check it.
My email address is on it.
Whoop, I got two. All right, thank you.
You will.
thank you for coming in.
Oh,
We
I'm
appreciate
sorry
it.
because I missed
That's-
the last one. That was an emergency.
That's okay. We understand. Family things come up. We all have them.
So
So you're good until you and John meet, and
Okay.
then
then we'll,
we'll
Okay.
finish it off right then.
All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. So I wait for your call, John.
Okay,
So we can
all
finish.
right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. Have a nice
Good night.
Thought I saw Azu stick his head in.
Do we need to take action on that, or is it good? Do you want to do a vote on it, or just,
You wish.
Yeah, because you gotta get stuff signed and everything like that.
Entertain a motion to have John go out and
Yeah.
approve a line with
Yeah,
the,
just to be on
with
the
For
the,
the record, yeah.
Yeah,
okay, I'll entertain a motion to have John go out and approve a line.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Move and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Welcome, gentlemen. And we have a new public hearing to open. I will read that into the record. Under the Wetland Protection Act, Chapter 131, Section 40 of Mass General Law as amended, and the West Bridgewater Wetland Protection Bylaw Rules and Regulations, the West Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing the 20th of February, 2018, in the McDonald Brown Conference Room, 65 North Main Street, for an amended order of conditions for SE 325-555, allowing changes to the gravel parking lot and a 50-foot buffer, removing invasive vegetation, and enhancing stormwater runoff filtration for 475. We're open.
Sorry.
Good weather comes and all of a sudden you're sore, huh?
Oh, you know, the cortisone shots that don't seem to be working.
do you have the green?
Yes, I
Okay,
do.
good.
Sorry about that. Yeah. You want this one too?
It doesn't matter what, just the green tag, okay.
Actually, if you don't need those, I can take the receipts if you want.
The white ones can go back to them?
Thank you. Because he has my receipt on it.
Yep.
All right, what do we got?
So, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to again appear and will speak to you, with you regarding the proposal. Last time we came here, we came on an informal, John, if I could, you and I can share this? Sure. We came here on an informal basis. The first sheet, that is sheet 1 of 2, is basically the existing conditions, what's out there. And we had gone out and had a Brook Monroe flag the wetlands on the west side of the property, behind the rear building. And then we connected that. That didn't seem to make too much difference from what you have on record that you already approved. And so we looked that into the original delineation that was approved as part of the order of conditions. And then sheet number 2 shows last time we were here, we discussed with the board informally at the time the proposal of a gravel area to serve as both parking and for access into the back of the building, so that we can maintain the clients that we have. And that area pretty much lends itself to that, and we're asking the board to allow that, given the fact that there's an existing stone wall that is there, and that stone wall provides a physical and permanent physical and visual barrier. And you can see that we're not really talking a lot of regrading of that. And that gravel will be essentially its pervious material, so you wouldn't get, it will not engender much runoff. And I have to the left side of the plan, just right underneath the locus, on the upper left corner, you'll see the detail that I've added there for that gravel parking. And then the question also arose, how in working in this buffer zone, what would you do for us, at least some kind of a mitigation. So I've recorded on the top right corner of the plan, near where the notes that I have, notes that says general notes, right at the bottom it says that the total area of gravel parking that we're proposing, it's 5,034 square feet, and then we're proposing planting mitigation outside but contiguous with the 50-foot buffer line. We're proposing planting of 5,542 square feet. Now I've made a distinction between what we were asking the board originally as clearing the invasive species, which I've illustrated on the plan as the green shaded areas. But for the gravel parking, which we are seeking to provide some mitigation, is the area that is shaded in blue. And it calls out what we have there. Now, given the material that's there and how invasive those were, and we're trying to maintain a wetlands planting scheme that will at least be compatible with the area but not be keep down the invasive species. We're proposing similar to the ship laurel and low on the huckleberry planting. And if you notice in the area by the street, and that is very important because we're already asking for the for clearing the area so that we can get a good line of sight. But that area, if you notice, I've kind of created a little bit of an area that will be a depression so that it will engender water retention and then achieve some growth. And then we want to define, so that it's pretty clear, we want to define those the right up against the 50-foot buffer line, a row of red swamp maple trees. So I think that clearly what we're proposing makes sense, and it will provide for a better use of the site and make things a little easier so that we're not dealing with again having to on a regular basis have to go there and weed whack the invasive species, and this will I think enhance the property very well. And on the just above the title on the plan, it's a detail for the aprons that we are going to be redoing, so that it's right now they are kind of overgrown, and that's where on the belly, as you come in from the street, where we have that concave shape, proposing a better apron to take the water that is coming from that gravel area across. So we are hoping that the board will see that this is a genuine effort to achieve a better traffic flow and parking, but also reflect our genuine awareness as to the fact that the board does not like to see activity in the 50-foot buffer where we're proposing that gravel on the westerly end of the rear building. But I think it is very clear that we need that, and we're hoping that we can receive the board's blessing, and at least so that some of the tree removal can occur while the ground is frozen so that you don't have as much damage. And then as soon as spring is upon us, we'll start the planting and the gravel parking. And then I think we should be able to get everything wrapped up right at the onset of summer season, at the end of spring, and clean up the fires with the commission, and then stop showing my handsome face here.
What have you got, John, anything? Or,
Well, I went back and looked at the original approval, and there are some things that weren't done as part of the original approval. And I think we've discussed it during some of the informal meetings that we've had here, but I think it's appropriate because now it's a public hearing to bring them out. The area on sheet number, actually both plans, which would be the side towards the south side of the property where it says pervious gravel. That was to be paved parking areas with a drainage structures underneath to do some leaching or some infiltration. That has not been built, and it remains as pervious gravel surface. The area up near the corner of the building, in this area here, if I can point it out, in this area right here, the original plan approved. Can we take that whole thing? So here's the area that was originally supposed to be a gravel paved parking area with drainage structures underneath. That hasn't been built. But I did notice on the original plan that the arc of the access road actually extended over into the 50-foot buffer, which was approved by the commission at the time. They didn't build it that way. They kept it in a little closer. And they went a little bit farther here, in this area here, than what was approved. But I think it's a decent trade-off. So that's really no big issue as far as they would have disturbed more of the 50-foot buffer if they had put that arc in. So the big question comes up, what about the gravel parking that intrudes into the 50-foot buffer? And on this plan, I show it with that kind of aqua blue at the bottom of what's actually intruding into the 50-foot buffer. He's indicated that they are enhancing some of the areas as mitigation to this, and I would advocate that in order to justify the waiver of the 50-foot buffer, you generally ask for quite a bit of mitigation, and it doesn't seem as if really enough of it is being offered. And the fact that the calculations are that the area of plantings is 5,542 square feet versus the disturbance of 5,034. It's not really that much of a increase, and I think there needs to be a lot more mitigation offered, and that's just my opinion, so the commission can weigh in on that. That's all I have.
my question on the proposed gravel parking area, what's gonna be parked there? Just trailers or trucks and equipment?
The trailers that they tow when they go out.
Is it just the trailers, or is
Yeah.
it the 4+ excavators that are out, mini excavators?
No, because it doesn't
Just
have
the
those
trailers?
independents.
You want to condition?
Well, no, I was curious, because I've taken a look at the site a couple of times, and it seems like the client may have overgrown the site with the amount of equipment he has parked there. I mean, there's all along here, pickup trucks, 1 ton, plus whatever larger size trucks. And here, there's at least 4 mini excavators and 3 or 4 or 5 trailers on the corner, and a couple other trucks along here. So we're just trying to figure out logistically what you were looking to put, where you're trying to put it. So that you're not parking anything in the building, and there's a garage door on this side, and then the multiple bays in the back. I mean, it is a tight fit right now in the back, I'll give you that. I mean, it's,
If I may, Mr. Chairman, the person, the tenant with the mini excavators and the trucks, he's a warm weather contractor, so he's down for the winter months. All that stuff goes away. They go on site as soon as the weather allows. So that's a temporary situation. It's certainly not like that all year long. It's probably like that 3.5 months out of the year.
Does he do snow in the winter?
No.
No, so he just leaves everything parked there?
He does sidewalks for cities, so a lot of equipment's on the job all year long. It just happened to come back this time of year because there's no work going on.
And where's the snow gonna be put in this area, plowed? Where's it gonna be pushed if it snows? Where's it being put now?
where do you stockpile the
Where do
snow?
you put the snow now?
In the gravel
Area?
pervious area, so when it melts, it goes right back into the ground.
Use salt or any treatment?
Not at all.
So you're really looking for more parking is
Yes, sir.
kind of what it,
Yeah, I mean, the replication stuff, the fixing the drainage up here and all that I really don't have a problem with. I think that's an improvement. Putting the 4-foot retaining wall in along the edge, in hindsight, maybe that was something that should have been proposed originally when it was done,
Yeah.
to make it functioning and be able to work and clean that all up.
Is there gonna be a wall right here in the back of the proposed area?
The
Yeah,
back
the
side of-
existing wall, it's already there.
There's a
Right, well, this stone wall's right
wall.
here.
Yeah.
But around the edge, is there anything planned for that, or is that just the?
No, we're not going past that wall.
Is it a stone wall as it's been there for years?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
it
It's
was
been there.
there when it was built?
No, it's been there. So it's the field stone walls that they used to put along property boundaries.
Yeah,
It's actually the boundary between the business zone and the residential zone.
yeah. How high is that? Just a regular height?
About 1.5 feet.
Oh, all right. No, I can't put a problem.
so do we have to have a 1-to-1? Is that
It's a little over
Pretty much
1-to-1.
do.
At
Mandate.
least 1 to
at
1.
least 1-to-1?
It's a little over 1-to-1.
So you got,
But you're not actually replicating, you're just improving vegetation
right.
within the 50-foot. You're not creating something else for giving up the 50-foot. I mean, you're
Well,
improving what's already there.
We're improving what's there, so it's a little more, actually more functioning. Well, and then with time, that actually will be basically functioning as wetlands. That area, because right now, it doesn't have the wetland species in it. So what we're actually proposing is wetland species in an upland area outside of that 50-foot. Okay, so we're actually gonna be ending up creating more jurisdiction on the property for future use. Okay, so I think that reflects actually an improvement. It also makes it a more functioning wetland, so it's more contiguous with what you have right now. I mean, if you want to increase the density, I just think, yes, that perhaps we should have anticipated that, but a lot of times you don't know who your tenant will ultimately be, and when you get a good tenant, they are very hard to come by. You get a good tenant that could use the space. You do the best you can to secure that tenant, and so obviously, if I'm sitting on that side, I'm probably going to be saying, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think this will make the site a lot more functional, and I can assure you that
That adds up to the,
I can assure you that everything that is proposed here will be done, and you'll get a clean site, and it'll be a lot more functional, so.
So this area over here, the pervious, why wasn't that done the way it was supposed to be done in the beginning?
Well, that actually, if you look at that, that actually cut the pavement that was gonna go there by, well, more than a half. Okay, so, if you're really looking at the elevations of what was proposed before, you were not really getting a good separation from groundwater anywhere with that, unit that they proposed here. Yeah.
Is that the why you left it the way
Yeah,
it is?
right, to minimize the regrading, and actually all the water that comes, is functioning very well. The only thing I suggest that we do, which is what I'm showing here, is create this apron better, so that actually provides additional storage and slow down, so that you don't have any scouring effect.
No, can you just drive off of this on into the
No.
driveway?
Yeah, you can pretty much drive
Yeah.
right around the hole.
And go right
Yeah.
out the driveway, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you need all this parking. Is it filled right up completely right now?
Yeah, they don't park over that gravel area.
What gravel are you talking about?
The existing one that's, that would have been paved before,
So you
this area here.
part of that. Yeah, okay.
It gets driven on, of course, yeah, when you drive around the building.
Is there any part of that you might want it to be able to maybe take a section of that and replicate it as a wetland area?
But it will not be contiguous with the wetlands area like this
Yeah,
one.
but still, you're gonna be creating,
Up front.
Yeah, it will not, right, it's right, because that one's more, if
if
you,
you gotta do it out here, you gotta go into it.
See,
Right.
it's not on that one.
Yeah, if we don't,
Yeah.
let me see if we have it.
yeah, you're probably looking at the one that we used for discussion way back. Yeah, this should be, there you go, there you go.
That's the area.
Yeah.
we have to replicate.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, so, I mean, you can create a, take this piece here, but it's not gonna enhance the value of the area, you wanna, you know,
What's it look like out here now? Scrubby?
it's, well, yeah, and with a lot of briars
That's a good
overhanging.
idea. This is something that
That's contiguous here.
Yeah,
No.
as well as
That's
over
down
here.
there.
As well as over here.
I mean, if this square footage, you might be pretty much.
What do you think of this idea? Part of the justification for expanding the gravel was the back of the building has bay doors for contractors to move in and out, and it's really tight. If you were to limit the amount of gravel expansion to right about here, and let it go this way, even though it's
Still get in and
closer,
out.
so that they can maneuver better there, maybe even push this over near the property line, and then have plant that
Yeah,
area
that's been continuous with that.
with the other blue area. I don't know if everybody can see that, but when we hold it up,
And then put a restriction on it as far as trailers parked there only, and,
And it's still got a little bit.
so cut off
yeah, a
this
little more that
portion
way,
here.
and,
Let them go all the way over to the property line, because that would seem to make more sense.
yeah.
And then plant this along with the blue here.
So we're basically short 1,000 feet
Cut off this area here.
to do a one-to-one.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Roughly,
Something
yeah.
like that, but yeah, that makes more sense, obviously.
Right, because it's connected to the,
Part of the wetland.
So you'd still be able to pull in and out of there, plenty of room.
Yep.
I'm just afraid of storing equipment for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, we
I know,
put some,
no matter how good and how updated it is, hoses go, things leak.
We'll put them on the asphalt. They
Yeah,
have
if it's
to
on
be
the
there for
asphalt, then it's a
time.
little easier to clean up a spill or catch it quicker, and,
And that can be conditioned, Mr. Chairman.
right, I mean,
Condition
Where would
too.
you do that on the asphalt without,
Where they are now.
they're basically on the far side. Yeah, nope, right against, lined up along the edge, yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
That's all asphalt now.
Yeah.
We can all still get around still.
May I ask a question?
Yep.
You said you were short 1,000 feet. What are you looking for, a one-to-one? Are you looking for a two?
No, we're more than one-to-one though.
More than one-to-one.
Because of this out here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're giving you more than
He's
one-to-one.
just enhancing them, enhancing the wetland,
We're gonna do that
not
also?
replicating.
See,
One more,
I guess,
another 1,000 square feet of replication.
I guess what the commission's saying is that area that outside the 50-foot buffer that you're enhancing, the blue area here, it's really not a buffer, it's more than a buffer now, and whereas if you were to,
But that's pretty much like scrubbing lawn, we're actually putting wetlands vegetation there.
But it's wetland now, right?
No, it's not. It's in the buffer.
What about the
It's-
front?
It's outside,
The
well,
front
that's
part?
outside the 50 feet.
Yeah, but the front part is wetland, right?
No,
No?
isn't that the detention basin?
out front, no.
Yeah, there's a basin out there.
Yeah, but we're not doing the work in that.
Where is the basin?
He's doing along the frontage.
Yeah, the original plan was.
Can I ask one question?
Yep.
Can you explain to me the difference between
Yeah, that's the basin.
enhancement and recreation of a wetland? I don't
That's
understand that.
There's a structure in there.
If you're gonna plant vegetated, if you're gonna vegetate it like a wetlands isn't that creating wetlands?
But you're taking a piece of property,
Oh,
making it
that's
into a wetlands, you're not taking a piece of wetlands
I mean,
and
you
making
can
it better,
enhance it, but
Yeah.
better
It's already
as
a-
in.
I mean, you're not necessarily making it a wetland, you're placing wetland plants that are susceptible to being there. They could be in an upland, they could be in a wetland. They just will establish or stay better in a wet
Yeah.
area,
Yeah.
which, looking at the drainage, the way you're sending it,
Yeah.
you're gonna create it more wet than dry, so therefore, the sheep laurel, the huckleberry, the blueberry are gonna be tolerant of
Of the water.
the larger water concentration that's going
Mhm.
there. I mean, which is a better improvement than having all the invasives that are there
Right.
now.
You see what John is talking about here?
I have left the bench.
We're not there.
You're saying they were this right here and then expand it over here and pick all the way to the property line and pick that up.
Can we do it like an angle here so that we can have like
A sweep.
a sweep? And then we can leave these pieces alone?
Yeah, I mean, I think something like that could,
Now let's go from this corner, John.
I
to
was
that
thinking,
corner.
looking at it like that,
See, yeah,
to make
That would
this
work out
curve
much better.
here, kind of maybe,
Oh, kinda like
yeah, because then you,
Right,
otherwise you
right.
come here and
Something
start
of a-
squeezing this
either,
way.
either
instead of
whichever,
cut off.
I mean, if that
right,
works
instead of
for you,
straight,
that works for me, just to
making
get
it more of
something.
a,
So that's,
Yeah, that's
have to be dug up and,
right, I mean, there's a pile of fill right now there that's gotta get removed anyways, so.
oh, really?
Yeah.
then I would say that we don't
About
want
a
to
story
do this
and a half
part over
high.
here then.
No, Alex just said.
No, it's soil,
You know,
or
leave it
debris from
sweeping like it's
site work.
proposed.
Sure.
It's just stockpiled here,
Yeah.
they're huge.
John said just leave this like this.
Yeah, going over to,
No, leave it, leave it the way it is, not cold now.
just match this over. You're thinking of just making the curve both sides, John, is that what you're?
Yeah, so they would like to have it sweep this way,
Yeah.
and then I took away this up here and said,
Oh, leave it like
Let's-
that.
so now it's a sweep. Instead of squaring off up here and squaring off here. So this would be a enhancement area.
Or replicate.
And maybe we could do the enhancement up here.
As well.
So we have, so that, I think that would compensate
Very much.
pretty much for this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it's something you would consider or want to do, just making that stone wall wrap around. I mean, just, it'll make it that much more permanent.
In other words, the demarcation of that.
Right, I mean, where the stone wall kind of just ends on this side, if it was to go up along the curve and then the same on the other side, have
Well, we could
Or
put some.
some way to,
Make
yeah.
a demarcation there, instead of moving the
just
wall.
instead of just sloping it down and then planting, and we know how the plantings go, that all of a sudden you mow it, and then you mow it a little more, and you mow it a little more, and not you are, but the guys that are doing the maintenance, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, So,
yeah, I think we could give them more space and turning.
I think we got a plan.
We can live with that, continue it one more meeting for the changes
So
on the
that you make
plan.
the
and-
change?
That's something you need, would wanna do?
You could live with that?
As long as you guys are okay with that, we can move forward to the next meeting. I have no problem with that.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to continue.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Move and second, all those in favor? So
Along
moved.
with doing everything else out front, and,
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Really
Thank you.
appreciate that.
No.
Really appreciate it, thank you.
Figure that one out?
Need them much longer, huh?
No, we're getting there. You should got them all charging up there.
No, they're about this big, 4K.
Resolution on them.
Good night. Good night.
All right.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a good one.
night.
You too.
I'm not certain why 102 West Center isn't here this evening.
I'm gonna entertain a motion to continue it.
Before you do, I'd like to ask some questions. So, they're not here, but maybe I could pass this along. So we would continue it, but maybe I could pass this
Because you
along.
had discussions with him or no?
No,
on
I
this?
haven't
Okay.
had any discussion, but now if I get some direction from the commission, I could say this is what the commission would like. Why don't you show it on your plan and come in at the next meeting? Here's West Center Street. This is only a small, obviously, copy of the original plan, but here's West Center Street. This is the new parking that they're gonna put on adjacent to the new building. And then there was a space, and then the existing building that you see right on West Center Street now.
Mhm.
This yellow line is the 50-foot buffer that's kind of marked out there now
I
with
see it now,
with
yeah.
an erosion control barrier.
Yeah.
But you'll notice that the landowner accesses this
Mm.
shed and parks his maintenance, lawn and care equipment, trailers, that kind of stuff over here. And that he has approached to the old back of the the building that fronts on Howard Street.
Right.
And it gets real mucky in there because a lot of the drainage that they designed for the
Yeah.
parking lot spills out there and runs across into the wetland. So it gets mucked up. And so this whole crosshatched area is in the 50-foot buffer and is being mowed, which is, I don't think, a big issue, but with all the equipment going in there, that's a little bit more than what I think the commission would like to see. So I'm recommending that a small area be allowed to be accessed to the shed. If you feel it should be a little bit more than that, that's fine. But I think it should be limited, and we have to come up with an idea of restricting this. We already have an area that we call the conservation easement, and we just need to, I think, expand that and prohibit the access other than mowing. And if you don't want him to mow it, then you could include that. But he has been mowing it for many, many
Oh, yeah.
years, so
Yeah.
kind of hard to say no at this point. But I think parking vehicles in there is contrary to what you would
Oh, yeah.
normally want to see for a buffer.
For sure.
So do we want to limit it to just this little amount that's shown in the blue line, or increase it out a little bit?
Yeah, I think you should increase it out a little bit, just so he's able to get in there with the truck and be able to hook up,
Okay,
instead of making, you can't do it, and then just make sure the
Are we
other.
gonna allow him to keep trailers and stuff parked back there, or are we gonna tell him he has to keep them out of the 50?
Where's he gonna put it if he doesn't?
Well, he's got all that grassy area.
this is still available to them.
I mean, what do you do
Is that gonna
about
be
the
grass?
shed, for instance? I mean, because
That's
it's
gonna be
always
grass.
been there.
This is
kinda
this is
grandfathered.
his
Isn't
lawn
it?
area.
But
But he's asking us
Could we
for,
So
say
here's the
pull it out?
parking.
So after.
we could ask him
the new
as
building-
mitigation
I mean,
Yep.
pull it out.
theoretically,
Right,
could
I mean,
the commission
So the
say
new
it's gotta
building
go?
is right about here,
Oh, okay, all right, the new building.
and the parking for it is right
Yeah.
here.
No,
because
because
it's-
it's been there for so long.
And then this is all
So
grass.
He just wants some access.
Or-
Yeah, if it's gonna be that
I mean,
way,
having
then
to
just
put all this
extend
new
it out that way
stormwater
more,
and
so it's
drainage and
closer to
everything.
Oh,
the
they're
road,
gonna be all over that.
maybe.
I mean, putting water all over the place, you
Extend-
gotta,
He has
So
no
you can
room
park
to
the
work.
trailers, something like that, over in this area,
Yep.
then over in this area. Park them over here, now we can still get to the shed.
So we'll prohibit the trailers from there and park them here,
Probably,
and then,
because that way it's better, it's closer that way than it is to the wet area,
okay.
I think. I don't know.
I mean, that would, yeah, I mean, that would be my suggestion.
I didn't
to
realize
try
that
to
was
keep,
gonna, I didn't realize that was gonna stay all
gonna be all
grass.
lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all lawn, it's all disturbed, all mowed now, and it's
Yeah.
outside the 50, so.
Do you want to let them still continue to mow this, but just
Yeah.
limit the access to it?
Still gotta be marked,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, mine,
Yeah.
it's still mowed on it, it looks nice.
If he's been doing it, yeah.
What's the bottom left of the page is the concerned area, right?
Down here,
The other side.
down
Where-
here,
Where
yes.
it goes into his building, he has a garage there.
Your left,
Yeah,
not mine.
yeah.
Yes, that's, he actually comes around like this with his
Yeah.
truck and bogs down into the muck, and
Right.
I think the engineer at the last hearing had mentioned that he's planning to move some stuff out of there, so maybe that won't be an issue for him, but at least for discussion points before the next
Sure.
meeting. If I propose some things like this, maybe they'll come back with a counter proposal, and maybe we can get a resolution to it.
Mhm.
No, if he's gonna move some stuff out, maybe it'd be better off in that lawny area than closer to the road than it would be out in the wetty,
Yep.
more wet.
It'd be ideal if this could be moved to right here, but
That would be nice, but.
I don't think we
Yeah,
have
they would eat
the,
up his parking.
I don't think we have the right to ask him that, so.
That's what I was asking Tim with you.
That's been there since Howie's had the house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long that shed's been there, but it's got to be there at least 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
I think at least,
Before the 50.
yeah, at least 40, so.
I don't go that far back, but
Right, but it-
it's been there ever since I've been working for the town, so.
It's not really making a mess or anything like that, I mean,
No.
it's just, it's not like there's a lot of stuff.
Some,
on
there
there
was
now.
some dumping in the back, though.
Yes,
Right.
we'll definitely stop that. The
Yeah.
dumping was down
Onto
in-
Beaverton Woods.
into this area, in
Yeah.
Beaverton Woods, so we'll stop that part. That'll be prohibited, but,
Yeah, looks fine.
Let's see what he has to say about it.
okay. So I'll propose some restrictions, see what they say, and then maybe they'll come in with a plan that will show it.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's continue it.
I'll entertain a motion to continue 102 West Center.
I'll make the motion.
We'll second it.
Moved and seconded, all's in favor?
I,
So moved. I have two plans here. I have 54 Beacon Street for an informal discussion.
Annie.
I have some sketches there that,
Yes.
that I drew up based on what he proposed. So he came in and asked if he could add a 12-foot wide section of pave adjacent to the garage. So as you're facing the garage from Beacon Street, it would be on the right-hand side of the garage. It's in an area that is outside the 50-foot buffer. It falls upslope from his erosion control barrier that he's already shown on the plan. And the engineers have certified that they put it in that same spot. So I don't see it as a major impact and would consider it a minor project change if the commission agrees.
So, 50 foot, yeah.
You looking to pave the whole thing? What are you doing?
Yes, he's gonna pave it.
How far out of the 50 is it?
It's approximately a 20 scale, it is a 20 scale plan, so it looks to me that it's like 55 to 56 feet outside the,
Oh, okay. So it's not really have to worry about any a lot of wild runoff.
right.
It was, you know, put a berm, but it's fine.
I think it's just a minor project change.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion for approval of a minor project change.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And Lincoln Street, lot 22-3.
All right, this plan is the original plan that was approved by the commission.
Notes.
So,
Which I think is that one.
and I think the ones that you have this evening is what he's changing it
Proposing,
to.
okay.
So Lincoln Street is right here, and they're proposing a long driveway out to the house, which is right here. And the driveway had to come up because it went up over the top of the septic system. They were proposing a boulder retaining wall here, and the grades of the driveway are pretty steep going up over it and, of course, along adjacent to the raised septic system. So the developer scheduled perk tests to check out behind the house, and it's outside the 50-foot buffer, and they did successful perk tests out behind the house, which is what you have on the plan in front of you. And he can move the septic system over to the back of the house, which would be out in this area on this plan, and eliminate the big hump going up over the top of the septic system, which eliminates this boulder wall, puts all the grades relatively flat so that you don't get that erosion off a big mound, and like on Ash Street where they had to raise all those houses way up. Right now, during this winter, without any grass growing, those things are washing out, and really, I have to keep an eye on what's happening around the erosion control barriers, because some of them, the sediments are just going over the top of them, and they have to clean them back out of the 50-foot buffer. Not as bad of a situation as if it was going into a wetland, but still it's a buffer that we try to protect, so I've been having them keep those cleaned out. This would eliminate that problem with what they're proposing tonight. So I feel it's a lot better plan, just that when you look at a minor project change, like we did for 54 Beacon Street, that's pretty minor. This, to me, is major. I don't think it should be a problem with the commission approving it, but I think I have a problem with the commission saying, oh, it's minor,
No.
when some abutters...
Are we moving the whole septic system and redesigning
Didn't
it?
we say this in the beginning? Somebody said this in the beginning. Couldn't the septic system go back of the house? And they said, for some reason, no. How
Because
high
wasn't
is
the
it
well
up?
in the back of the house originally?
Yes.
And,
How
Yeah,
high
'cause
up
it-
is that? Is that making a hump up back?
no, because of the elevation of the house, it's pretty much gonna, I mean, it's gonna
Somebody
slope.
said that. I think
down
they
to
said
the
that.
back.
And I told them, why can't you put it out back? Oh, couldn't do it. Now they come and change that. I think they should change, yeah, it's not minor.
Okay.
Which means,
That he has to notify the abutters.
Yep.
We'll put it in the paper.
yeah, probably,
Do it
yeah.
the right way.
I mean, that's, moving the septic system like that's a big change. That's not just
Yeah,
a little grading here or there.
And that other house is still over here,
Yes.
yeah.
still They still share the driveway?
No, yes,
Yeah.
there's an easement on the front
So-
part so that he could cross over.
So when I was talking about putting a berm there because of the water, now they don't have to worry about it.
Right. So maybe the developer was listening to you, Lee,
I hope so.
and ignoring what the engineer was saying at the meeting, which.
Yeah, he wasn't listening.
So I think that, that in my experience over the years dealing with DEP, they would frown upon the idea if we considered this a minor project change. So
Yeah, so do
I'm
it right.
recommending that it should be a public hearing.
Yeah.
Yep.
The comment that DEP made in one circumstance that I'm aware of was that by the commission determining that it wasn't really that much of a, it was a better project overall by making a change, but it left out the possible input from an abutter who might have wanted to see and come into the meeting. And so this way we allow the abutters, if they care to come in, to discuss it with the commission.
Well, I think they'll be a lot happier if they do come in. too.
Yep. Yep.
So I will entertain a motion to require the public hearing for the changes for the septic.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And
Invoice or two.
we have a few invoices to sign. One is for WB Mason.
Do we have to continue Luke and Luke Drive?
Once
Need a
again.
motion on that?
Those were continued to March 3rd, 20th.
Yeah, both into March. John's approval for his MAC.
And Ryan has just given me his tonight, so we'll get that on at the next meeting for reimbursement for him. And what Tim and I have done in the past is left it about 7,
Okay.
and we can get up there in time to register and have a little bit of time to walk around the exhibit area, have a cup of coffee and Danish or whatever they have there, and
Get your
then,
free clipboard, free mug.
yeah. And
Free bag.
to save you the
You exhibit.
trouble, I could pick you up at your house.
Did
You sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
that way you don't have to leave your car sitting in the parking lot all day long.
All right. Thank you.
Yep,
And jeans, fine.
yeah,
To wear.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I'd wear what you have on
Yeah.
now and what I have
It's fine,
as an
okay.
example, so it's fine.
Gotta look like you've been in the woods.
Some people look that
They
way,
do. They really do.
and others look like
With
they,
helmets and.
and others look like they would never go near one, but they're there.
Anybody, anything else? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
We're done.
No nays.
7:27?